You are who you hang around. I know y'all know King Solomon. He was the wisest man in all of the Bible. He was a king back in the day. If everyone in the land where Solomon lived to not marry any woman outside of the land that you live in. Reason being, if you marry them, they will turn your hearts away from me. Solomon did the exact opposite. Solomon married women from so many different lands. I had given him everything. He was a wise man. What unions and bonds that are in your life that might have caused you to turn your own heart from God. You are who you hang around. A person whose heart is not for God, you being around that can slowly get you to turn your heart away from God. I want you to evaluate the people that are in your life. Which one of those traits could you say honestly rubbed off on you? Like question, like, yo, is this person unintentionally making me fall away from God? You may have a friend who is a big complainer. They have no faith at all. They go through stuff and they just complain. That might not be who you are. Around that so much where now you adapt their method. You must be careful of who you hang with because they can call what they worship and their lack of faith and their lack of humility can slowly roll off on you, because who are you asking advice for when you need help or something? What type of advice are you getting from them? We have people in our lives who we have a gut feeling that we know we shouldn't be in there, whether that be relationships, friendships. We have a gut feeling, like some of us have a gut feeling that this relationship needs to change. It needs either needs some changes or it needs to like be no more. But we are so afraid to move on from these people. Like Solomon. Solomon insisted on marrying these women. We have insisted on keeping people in our lives and keeping the relationship looking the same way it did before. Why have you insisted on keeping them in your life? And I had to ask myself that, because I had this video was so convicting for me. It hit home for me because I got some people in my life where I'm like, yo, I've been like for like the last month or so, I'm like, yo, like I'm not sure whether like we should like really do life together no more. Like the reason why it's so hard, and I think so hard for many of us, and even in my previous relationship, it was so hard to move on because of time, or no matter like what the damage it might be doing to my peace, my joy, or even my faith. I'm willing to just, take it all because of like all the love and history and time that's there. And I want to tell you guys, like, is it really worth like this relationship? Is it really worth losing? Is it really worth the headache and the stress and the trauma that you're enduring to maintain and keep this relationship? And if you have that gut feeling to move on from this friendship, that gut feeling, trust that gut feeling. That gut feeling could honestly be God telling you, nudging you like, hey, I think you need to move on. Hey, move on. Like this person is detrimental to you and it can get worse. I'm trying to prevent you from it getting worse. Please move on. But we don't do that. We think, you know what? I'm gonna just take all the brunt of this. I'm gonna just take it because it's not all bad. It has its good moments too. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be like that. And following God partially is like never following him at all. Sometimes, like Solomon did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He refused to follow the Lord completely. Solomon refused to follow God in this one area of his life, but he was disobedient in this area, which led him to turn his heart away from God. But it said that he refused to follow the Lord completely. Sometimes we feel that we can make up for our disobedience. We know we're doing wrong in one area. So since we know we're doing wrong in one area, we think that we can make up for it in other areas, right? Like, I know that I'm not supposed to be, God's telling me I shouldn't be in this relationship, or God's telling me to stop doing this thing or cut this thing out of my life. God's been nudging me. But you know what? I've been treating people with love, or I've been humble with the blessings that God gave me. I'm truthful when it's hard to be. I haven't been prideful. I've been trying to serve others. I've been living a life that I've been praying more, reading the word. I've been doing all these other things to make up for the disobedience that I've been having in my life. And I want to tell you that if you're not following God completely, it's like never not following him at all. And we can't make up for the other areas we can't try to have this mindset of, okay, I'm gonna just let the good outweigh the bad. So so I can just kind of continue doing this thing so that God kind of, accept me, or God won't be upset with me. We have to please God with all of our hearts, right? Ask yourself, if you were dating somebody that, imagine yourself in a relationship, they treat you right, they're always there for you, they love you, they don't judge you, you guys share all the same hobbies, they like spending time with you, they give you gifts, all these things, but they cheat on you too. So it's like, I'm gonna do all these things, all these good things, but I'm gonna cheat on you. So it's like, okay, the good outweigh the bad. You're not going for that. Like, being with somebody who constantly treats you right but cheats on you all the time, you're like, yo, and a lot of people do that. I ain't even going, that's a whole nother conversation. Or this person's abusive or whatever, but they do all these other good things, so the good outweigh the bad. If you're wise, you know that is not a good thing to do, and you're not going to accept that. You're like, no, look, you have to be right. You have to be right to me completely, not just 85% of the time. God is the same way. We have to love him completely, not just in one area, not in just 7 areas of our lives and not the 8th. No, we have to, in all areas of our life, we have to follow God completely, because not following him partially is like not following him at all. I love y'all.